Hold up. Donald Trump has dropped a financial bombshell. New tariffs that are going to quietly reach into your wallet and steal all your money. Well, maybe not all, but a whole lot of it. This isn't just politics that I'm talking about. This is your grocery bill, your next cell phone, gas in your tank, even car repairs. If you think inflation is bad now, it's about to get a whole lot worse. But even though it looks grim, don't panic. I know there's a lot of noise in the market right now and social media is going crazy. But here on the Get Money Show, I teach you how to control your money so your money doesn't end up controlling you. And this is a prime situation where you want to make sure that you have the power. So I'm going to break down exactly what these tariffs mean for you and your wallet. And I'm going to give you 6 smart money moves that you need to be making right now to make sure that you stay ahead and you don't fall behind. Now, this is one of those episodes you're going to want to make sure you absolutely stay to the end for, because numbers 2, 3, and 4 are the absolute most important, most relevant things that you 100% have to do right now. And then number 6 is actually the one that most people are not going to do, which means that you will actually have the greatest chance for being able to make it happen.
We getting money, money, money. When Jameer sharing gems with her getting money, money, money. Getting a line, growing money and getting money, money, money. It's your life, trying to get more life. Getting money, money.
So I know we've heard a lot of noise around social media and the news and from our friends' conversations and things like that, but what exactly are these tariffs and how do they affect us? Tariffs are taxes on stuff that's imported from other countries. And these new tariffs are about to get a whole lot more expensive. Let's say there's a 20% tariff on electronics coming from China. American companies that are importing those electronics have to now pay 20% more in taxes. But you can best bet they are not going to eat that cost. They're going to pass that on to you and me, the customers. So that means that your $1,000 laptop might now cost $1,200, and you are going to absolutely feel that cost at checkout. And not only that, Trump is talking about increasing the tariffs even more. As of the time I'm making this video, he's even talking about a 150% tariff on imports coming from China. Who's going to be able to afford that? And we're not just talking about China. We're talking about almost every other country, not to mention almost everything. So we're talking about tariffs on everything from smartphones to TVs to cars to clothing. So for those of you who love your Fashion Nova and your Shein and all that, you're going to feel those costs go up. He even floated around the idea of doubling the tariff on steel and aluminum to 50% at one point. Just imagine what that's going to do to car prices. Or even the cost of a can of soda. It's seriously like a 1-2 punch. We already have inflation making life expensive, and now tariffs are pouring gas on that fire. Some experts are calling this the biggest tax hike in decades, estimating that it could cost the average household nearly $2,000 a year in higher prices. $2,000? That's basically an extra rent payment or a vacation gone just because of a trade move. Okay, now let's take a breath. I know this sounds really grim. Prices are rising, uncertainty is in the air, and it's really easy to feel helpless. But here's the truth. You are not helpless. You cannot control what these politicians do, but you can control what you do with your money. So what can you do to protect yourself? Let's get into it. Move number 1 is to revisit your budget and cut the fat. When everything is getting pricier, the first thing you gotta do is cut the excess. Think about your budget like a boat. And yes, you need a budget. If water, or higher prices in this case, are coming in, you want to throw the unnecessary weight overboard to keep the boat afloat. Your personal finances are the boat, and that extra water coming in are the higher prices. So go through your expenses line by line, pull 3 months of your checking account, and see where you're spending your money excessively. Cancel all those subscriptions that you do not use, because I know you got some. Do you really need all those streaming services at one time? Probably not. Cook at home a bit more if eating out is burning a hole in your pocket, especially if food prices keep rising. Shop smart. Consider switching to store brands, using coupons, things our grandmas used to do. It works. By freeing up all those extra dollars, you create a buffer for yourself. And every dollar that you get to save is a dollar that fights inflation, ruining your financial situation. This is not about being cheap. This is actually about being smart. So until prices calm down, cut the fat so you can stay afloat without sacrificing the things that actually matter. Now remember, I told you numbers 2, 3, and 4 are going to be the ones that you really have to do absolutely unequivocally right now. So here we go. Smart money move number 2 is to boost your emergency fund. If you don't have an emergency fund yet, this is one that you need to absolutely focus on. Now is the time. If there was no other time, this is it. There's so much uncertainty. People are losing their jobs. Costs are rising. Folks don't know what's coming next. The best thing you can do right now is to make sure that you have money in the bank in case anything goes haywire. We cannot be living paycheck to paycheck. And if you already have an emergency fund, consider padding it even more. We are in extremely unpredictable times. Inflation is up. Tariffs are messing up the economy. The stock market is on life support. Who knows what is next? An emergency fund is your safety net for exactly this kind of uncertainty. And I've been telling y'all this for I don't know how long, but this is really the time that you've got to double down on this one. Aim for at least 3 to 6 months of your essential living expenses set aside. And that might sound like a lot, but you can build it bit by bit. An easy way to do it is to automate some of your paycheck into your savings account, even if it's just $50. And here's a pro tip. Keep this fund in a high yield savings account in a completely different bank than your normal checking account. That way it's out of sight, out of mind, and you don't think about it unless you're actually in an emergency. If you see it every day in your regular bank account, you're going to end up using that money, and next thing you know, you won't even have an emergency fund. If you put your emergency fund money into a high yield savings account, now your emergency savings is going to earn money on its own passively. This way, your rainy day fund isn't just sitting there doing nothing. It's keeping up with inflation, and that's what you want, because if it's in a traditional savings account earning less than 1% interest, you're actually losing money to inflation every single day. Having a cash cushion like this is going to give you options and peace of mind. If your car breaks down or if you have an unexpected bill, you're not going to be reaching in your wallet for a high interest credit card and going further into debt. Your emergency fund will keep you covered. If you need help choosing the right high yield savings account for yourself, I have a great episode on it, which I will drop in the show notes that you can click on. Speaking of debt, smart money move number 3 is to pay off your high interest debt. Nothing drags you down in times of inflation like high interest debt. I'm talking credit card balances, payday loans, any debt with a crazy interest rate. Now, I'm all for you paying off all of your debt, but right now, in times like this, I really need you to focus on that high interest debt. And when I say high interest, I'm talking anything over 10%, especially things over 15%. And you may think that 10% interest is really not even that high of an interest rate, but I want you to think about it like this. Can you go to any bank and get at least a 10% interest rate when you put your money in there and let it sit? Absolutely not. The most you're going to get from any bank is 5%, maybe 6% if you're super, super lucky. While you're over here only earning at maximum 6%, these banks want to charge you 10, 15, 20, 30%. That's why I say that any interest rate over 10% is high. Now, most credit cards are knocking on 30% these days. So if you have a credit card balance, you more than likely have high interest debt. Think about it like this. If your credit card charges 20% interest and inflation is already making everything else expensive, that's a double whammy on your wallet. The Federal Reserve of America, they control the interest rates, and they might hike interest rates even more, which could send your credit card rate up even higher. Don't wait for that to happen. Attack that debt now. Prioritize this. Funnel any extra money from smart move number 1, which was cutting the fat, basically eliminating excessive or unnecessary expenses from your budget. Funnel that straight into knocking down that balance. Doing this is like getting an instant return on your investment. Again, if your credit card is like 20% interest, paying it off is basically like you getting that 20% back because you're no longer paying it to somebody else. Plus, once that debt is gone, the money you were throwing at interest payments is now freed up, and you can use that money to boost your savings or invest. The bottom line is that high interest debt is a guaranteed loss for you and a guaranteed win for the bank. Wipe it out and you will instantly improve your money situation. Plus, again, in times like this where everything's super uncertain, it's going to give you so much peace of mind to not have that burden of debt on your back. Time for smart money move number 4, and that is to stay invested. Don't panic and diversify. When most people hear scary economic news like tariffs, market dips, or whatever, the gut reaction is to panic and pull their money out of the market. That is the worst thing you can do. Don't be that person. The stock market is very likely going to continue to get very volatile with all this tariff news. But remember, historically, after the storms, the market recovers and goes up over time every single time. I have to reiterate, history proves itself. Every single time the market has been down, it has always gone back up, recovered, and actually done better than it did before. This time is no different. If you yank your investments out during a dip, you are going to lock in losses and you're going to miss the rebound. Even worse if you're not invested at all. So if you're investing for the long term, like for retirement, keep at it. In fact, consider this. A market dip is actually a great buying opportunity. Stocks are on sale. If your favorite index fund or stock is down 10% because everybody else is running scared, you're going to get it for 10% off. And who doesn't love a discount? Now, if you're brand new to investing, or even if you're already invested and you want to diversify your brokerages without spending a ton more money, I've got something really, really dope for you. You know I'm all about getting the best deals, right? So I linked up with a commission-free brokerage called Moomoo, and I told them, times are uncertain. I need to help my people. What can you do to help me help them? They said, bet. And they gave me the opportunity to give you 5 free stocks just for clicking the link in the description here, opening an account with them, and depositing $100. Only $100. Now keep in mind, this is your $100. It's a commission-free brokerage, so they're not gonna take any of your money. This is basically you paying yourself. And like I said, I really, really love that Moomoo is commission-free. There's a lot of brokerages out here that charge you on the back end without you really knowing it. They steal your money little by little, nickeling and diming you here and there. Moomoo doesn't do that, and I really, really like that about them. When I went looking for a platform that's gonna help you in these really uncertain times, I specifically said there can be no fees and there can be no minimums, because we don't play those games over here. And Moomoo came through and they were like, we got you. So like I said, they're commission free and they're going to give you 5 free stocks. But I was like, well, what if they want to deposit more than $100? And they said the more they deposit for themselves, the more free stocks we're going to give them. So I was like, well, how much we talking? And they told me they would give you up to 60 free stocks. I said, 60? Look, that's free money for you to start building your portfolio, even while the market is shaky. Because remember, wealth is built in times like this. When the markets are down, you ride the wave, you wait for the rebound, and that's when you get those huge gains. And even better, if you got some free stocks that you didn't have to pay for. It's a no-brainer. Don't say I never gave you anything. Now, while you stay invested, it's also really important that you diversify those investments. Don't bet everything on one company or on one type of asset. Spread it out. Individual stocks, ETFs, REITs, and even diversifying among sectors. Do not buy all tech stocks. Tech is really volatile. When times are really good, tech is going to go up. But when times are down, tech is going to take a really, really big hit. I know tech stocks are really sexy and exciting, but in addition to those, add some tried and true companies with consistent stability, like those in the consumer staples sector, utilities, or even healthcare. Things that people are going to need regardless of what the economy is doing. You don't need to go wild on any one thing. Just make sure you've got a mix. The key here is don't let fear drive your decisions, because the same people who are panic selling right now are going to be the same people in 5 years who are crying about how they wish they would have stayed in the market because it went up so much. So stick to your plan, keep investing regularly, click the link in my show notes to get those 5 free stocks from Moomoo, and diversify your investments. You'll thank me and yourself later. Now, remember, I told you number 6 is the one you got to wait for. Number 6 is coming up really soon. That's the one that most people are not ever going to do. But if you do it, it's going to set you up for the win. So stay tuned. It's coming up, but let's get into number 5 right now. Smart money move 5 is to increase your income streams. When prices are climbing and times are uncertain, sometimes the best defense is a really good offense. In other words, find more ways to make more money. Can you start a side hustle or pick up a gig? Maybe it's freelancing with a skill that you have, selling something online, tutoring, driving for rideshare on the weekends. Hey, no shame in any of it. The gig economy is huge. You can turn a few extra hours into some real serious cash. Even an extra $200 a month is going to help significantly on the grocery bill and gas prices. Also, think about passive income. Maybe renting out a spare bedroom on Airbnb, or selling that ebook that you wrote and you're sitting on that you haven't published. Get creative. The goal is never to rely on just one paycheck, especially when that paycheck isn't going nearly as far as it used to. And besides that, you can only cut out so much from your budget, but your earning potential is unlimited. Plus, having multiple income streams means that if one dries up or falls through, you've got a backup, or hopefully a couple of backups. In times like this, hustle is going to be your best friend. Now, number 6 is the one I've been teasing this whole episode, and we are here. This is the one that I really, really want you to do, because most people are not going to do it. And that is to negotiate a raise. Oh, I know it sounds scary, but trust me, the math is going to math on this, and this is why you need to do it. If inflation is, say, 5%, and you didn't get a raise last year, you effectively took a pay cut in terms of how far your money can go. Basically, you can't purchase the same things today for the prices that you paid last year. So if you didn't get a raise last year and inflation went up 5%, you're now paying 5% more with the same money that you made 5% less on. Your job knows that costs are up, even for them. So your value as an employee is also up. especially if you are helping them navigate tough times like this. So gather up your accomplishments, practice a polite but firm pitch, and have that conversation. Even a 5% raise on a $50,000 a year salary is an extra $2,500 a year. That's going to cover a lot of the rising costs of groceries, gas, clothes, essentials, and more. Now, if your boss says no, consider looking for a higher paying job. There are still lots of opportunities out there. The point is that closed mouths do not get fed. You have to advocate for yourself. If you work for a big company, the CEO at your job is very likely giving himself a raise. So why don't you deserve one too? Most people will sit around and complain about high prices, but they will not do this. They will not go and simply ask for more money. Most people have all the time in the world to sit around on social media and complain about how prices are high, things are difficult, they can't afford basic things anymore. But 99% of them will not do this, which is exactly why you should. This is going to be one of the quickest ways to boost your income now and for the long haul. Do these and you will be way ahead of most other people, and you'll be securing your own money bag so that you aren't at the mercy of whatever the politicians decide to do. Now, if you stay to the end, comment the word tariffs for me and I'll be sure to respond back. And if you want more of these good money hacks, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and share it with a friend who you know needs this information. And be sure to click the link for My Rich Friends for even deeper money insights, live interviews with self-made millionaires, ongoing money challenges that help you get control of your finances better, and other tips and hacks that you only get as a member of My Rich Friends. Until next time, stay savvy, stay smart, stay strong, and keep hustling. Make sure that you follow me for more advice on making your money work harder for you than you work for it. See you next time. Peace.